In the 1980s, the grandsons of Haldiram, the emperor of Indian namkeens, get into an ugly fight amongst themselves. This fight results in the painful division of their grandfather's mighty empire into 4 different parts. However, that division turns out to be completely unfair. One of the brothers gets just a tiny part of the business and feels cheated. So cheated that he decides to abandon the decades-old Haldiram name entirely and start from zero. But how did he take a completely unknown brand name and turn it into the biggest headache of his brothers? This is the story of the man who created India's biggest revenge-namkeen empire. In 1919, 12-year-old Haldiram began selling bhujia for just 2 paise at his grandfather's shop in Bikaner. But while all bhujia sellers used to make it from besan, he decided to try something entirely different. Since Rajasthanis already liked moth dal, he started mixing that with besan to make his bhujia. And the result was incredible. His bhujia became thinner and crispier, which made it an instant hit in the entire city of Bikaner. And by the 1960s, he had turned it into one of India's biggest namkeen empires. However, after he passed away, something shocking happened. His fighting grandsons divided the business and India into 4 parts: Delhi, West Bengal, Nagpur and Bikaner. And everyone expected them to coexist peacefully after that. But what happened was the exact opposite. Shiv Ratan Agarwal, who got the much smaller Bikaner division, felt cheated. His division was only 1/3 of the Delhi division at that time. Powered by its metro location, the Delhi division had already surged past 200 crores by the late 1980s. But his business struggled to even cross 60 crores. To make things even worse, each brother was restricted to selling only within his allotted territory. This meant that he had no freedom to expand or grow beyond his boundaries. So despite inheriting a multi-crore business, he started losing sleep at night. Within the family, he was seen as a weaker brother, which frustrated him. He knew deep down that he had the ability to build something far bigger. And as long as these restrictions existed, his dreams would never turn into reality. That's when he made one of the riskiest decisions of his life. Abandoning the decades-old name of his grandfather, he decided to start his own brand. In 1993, he named his venture Bikaji Foods, drawing inspiration from Bika Rao, the founder of Bikaner, and adding G as a mark of respect. Not only was it easy to remember, but it also honored Bikaner's legacy and created an instant emotional bond with the consumers. And with that change, he felt the brand was finally complete. But he had no idea that achieving his dreams was going to be much more difficult. The namkeen and snacks for which his grandfather's Haldirams was famous had a fundamental problem. They had a shelf life of only a few days, after which they spoiled. And Shiv Ratan Agarwal realized this resulted in a huge limitation. He could only sell in areas surrounding his physical stores. Scaling and reaching a larger audience beyond them was impossible. So no matter how good his products were, he would always remain the owner of small bhujia shops, living in the shadow of his cousins. And that's when he spotted something that would change Bikaji's trajectory forever. Large MNCs were packaging their snacks with nitrogen. This preserved the freshness and extended the shelf life from days to months without losing quality. So he decided to change the face of the game entirely. Bikaji introduced namkeens in nitrogen-infused packaging. To strengthen it even further, he shifted to a 4-layer packaging with vacuum seals, becoming the first to do so. Suddenly, he extended the shelf life of his namkeens from just a few days to several months, without compromising on taste. And that unlocked a whole new level for him. He had broken the shackles and he thought he would now become unstoppable, ready to take Indian namkeens far beyond their traditional limit. But he was soon about to find out that he had solved only half of the problem. Right from the beginning, his goal was to take Bikaji's authentic snacks across the country. However, at that time, large-scale snack manufacturing was almost unheard of in India. Even if he could safely pack it with a shelf life of months, there was no advanced technology to produce bhujia in bulk. So expanding his presence without compromising the taste or profits was almost impossible. But instead of giving up, he started thinking outside the box. He researched and found out that large-scale machines to make snacks did exist in other countries. But none of them were designed to make Indian snacks like bhujia and namkeens. So he transformed from a halwai into a tech expert. Determined to build the machines he wanted, he traveled to Australia. There, he started working with the manufacturers, guiding them to design the machines that could make Bikaji snacks. And finally, after spending several weeks, he got a breakthrough. Giant automatic machines that could make Indian bhujia were now ready to import. But the battle was far from over. Importing these machines also needed a lot of money, which the tiny Bikaji of that time did not have. When he approached the banks for support, they flatly refused him, as this new idea seemed too risky. Every door was shut in his face. But he refused to accept defeat. When Indian banks rejected him, he convinced and collaborated with 3 foreign groups to get the funds. And finally, he was able to buy and import the advanced equipment and machines, setting up India's first mechanized bhujia factory. This turned out to be a revolutionary move which made him unstoppable. Within a year, Bikaji expanded overseas, exporting to the UAE, Australia and then multiple countries across the world. During the 2000s, he noticed that love for snacks was spreading like wildfire beyond bhujia. So he seized the opportunity and expanded Bikaji into several new categories including papad, western snacks, frozen foods and more. Within a few years, he had built a diversified basket of 300 plus products. That turned Bikaji into one of India's largest snack brands. And Shivratan Agarwal was on top of it. The rapid growth shocked his brothers, and the same banks that once turned him away now flushed him with capital. And if you really think about it, what Shivratan Agarwal did here wasn't just about machines. It was about removing human limitations from the system. Because earlier, scale was limited by how much a halwai could produce. Now it was driven by systems, processes and data. And this exact shift from people to systems is now happening in investing. Just like bhujia moved from halwais to machines, investing is moving from emotions to systems. Most people don't lose money because markets are bad. They lose money because they react at the wrong time. For decades, investing has been emotional. People panic when markets fall and get greedy when markets rise. And because of this, most people end up making poor decisions. But all of this is now changing with quant investing. In simple terms, quant investing means using data, math and fixed rules to decide where to invest, instead of gut feeling or news. The system studies things like price trends, risk and market behavior, and then automatically decides when to buy, sell or rebalance. And this isn't just theory anymore. There are players in India like Code that are actually building this in real life. For instance, they're all with the strategies designed to work across bull markets, bear markets and even sideways phases by spreading money across different assets and adjusting it regularly using data. So instead of reacting emotionally, the system keeps adapting based on what the data is saying. It's almost like the same machines that transformed Bikaji just applied to your money no matter what's happening outside. If you are curious how a system like this would structure your portfolio, you can check out Code in the description. Now as for Shivratan Agarwal, instead of being satisfied with his rapid growth, he played an even bigger move that would change Bikaji's future forever. By the late 2010s, the Indian snacks market was crowded with hundreds of local and regional brands, all fighting for the same pie. All of them offered similar products, which made it difficult for any one brand to truly stand out. And this did not sit well with Shivratan Agarwal. Right from the beginning, he never wanted Bikaji to be just another bhujia brand. And he realized that to truly stand out from others, Bikaji will now have to do something gigantic. It had to feel relevant to every Indian consumer, irrespective of their age or location. For that, he needed a voice that carried trust, respect, and emotions across generations. And he knew exactly who could carry the story forward. Amitabh Bachchan was loved by people of all ages all over India. His presence carried warmth and familiarity, qualities which Shivratan deeply valued. So acting on this idea, Bikaji brought star power to its advertising by welcoming Amitabh Bachchan as its brand ambassador in 2019. But the real masterstroke was the tagline he brought along with him. Amitji loves Bikaji. Amitji loves Bikaji became an instant sensation, powered by a face that people loved and a tagline that people could never forget. Bikaji never looked back. Its sales crossed 2300 crores while profit increased by almost 5 times within 4 years. What began in the narrow streets of Bikaner now reached every corner of India and over 30 countries across the world. The different branches of Haldiram spent decades locked in legal battles, fighting over names and territories even today. But he built Bikaji independently, avoiding all those disputes, proving that battles are not won by weapons but by those who wield them. Hit the subscribe button so you keep getting new videos like this one. If you liked this video, I recommend watching this one next. Until I see you in the next video, goodbye.